Oh my!
I don't hear anything from you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Technical difficulties already.
Hold on.
Let's see. Oh, he's gone.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear the announcements and everything else, but there's no sound coming from you.
Hold on. Give me just a second.
Not so bright. Yeah, I don't hear anything from you. Let's check. Okay. So Beth can hear you and
hear me?
but I can't hear you.
Beth can hear me?
So bizarre.
What is going on, bro? I can hear both of you, but you can't hear me.
Why can't
Oh, God, what is going on here? All right. That's so weird. Allowed.
Yeah, I have no sound from you.
You can hear me, right, Josh? Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know what to do about that. Test speaker, communications, mic volume. My mic is on. Headphones are on. Audio.
Hold on. Let me try to launch it from Chrome.
I don't get it. Nothing's muted. My headphones are set.
Just a second, folks. Hey, at least there's no lag right now, bro. Yikes. I know you can't hear me, but 4, 1, 3.
I don't know how to fix this. This is bizarre. And I'm so bright. Do you bear with us, guys? We're having some technical difficulties here. This is our first time going live. You zoomed in nice and close, but heck, I can even hear it when it told me you.
Can you hear me now?
But I do not hear you.
You can't hear me now either? Bizarre, bro. Bizarre. Bizarre.
This is strange.
What about now? You hear me now? What about now? What about now? Oh my God.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, I can't hear you either.
Everything should be working. I don't understand. Let me try my other headphones. Hang on. That thing?
Can you hear me?
The lens have taken over, probably. That is weird.
What about now?
Don't get it. There's no sound coming from you. She can hear us. I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll just have to run with it like this. You could aliens, yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that.
I'm stumped. Let's
see.
Because I do have sound, just not from you. Yeah, send me a message. Hang out, guys. We're going to try to fix this.
Lord have mercy.
So, Beth, just to verify, you can hear me and you can hear him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing is muted.
Struggle is real. Struggle. I don't know. It might be muted, but if he can hear me or she can hear me, Are we both like the same host? Like, are we both?
That's so weird. Let me go off and come back on. Maybe it's a glitch. I'll be right back.
Well, anyway. Yeah, I don't know. This is beyond my level. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No? Nope.
There's still no sound.
Interesting.
Check my settings.
Hey. Bro, what is going on here?
I don't know how to fix this.
Me either. Let me see if it works from my phone. Hold on.
Yeah, this is a pretty big bug. Copy. Dang, why am I so bright?
Jay's secret journey.
Can you hear me on here?
There's no sound. This is crazy.
Can't hear me on here either.
Let me try something. Let me change my output.
All right, we're struggling. Sorry, Beth.
Still nothing. Let me turn this off, actually. Nope. So much for our great comeback. I sure didn't know. But we don't know if it's me or him because you can hear us both. I just can't. But you can hear me, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So it's just me can't hear you. All right.
Mm.
I'll be right back. I'm going to close everything out.
Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Bow the hands and we're making a swear. No, still no sound?
No.
I can't hear you. Now I can hear you, but intriguing.
Yeah, I guess I could try restarting, but I don't know if it's me or the computer or what.
Just run it. Just run it.
All right. Well, you keep talking, Josh. You carry the show. I'm going to restart.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right. So we're Ricky contacted me last week. We were talking. First of all, it's been a while since we've been chatting. I've been on here doing my thing every once in a while, but honestly, I've been struggling with the mental health train. It happens pretty badly sometimes, especially this time of year. This time of year is chaotic. He sent me a video the other day that piqued my interest, talking about the moon landing conspiracy. What is going on my Facebook? Anyway, but the idea that the moon landing was, so they actually, the idea is that either they went to the moon or they didn't. That's one of the conspiracies. But apparently the idea was that they faked the moon landing to cover up the fact that what they hid when they went there. So when they went to the moon, they actually found like evidence of, they found structures, they found evidence of advanced technology, advanced civilizations. They found UFOs that had already been there. One of the stories is that they found, ones with swastikas on it because the Germans had already gotten there. There's lots of different stories, but I believe the video that he shared me was that the reason why they doctored the moon landing or faked it is to cover up the fact that they had found this stuff and they didn't want to tell the public, and somebody had warned them not to go back, is what else I've heard. But this stuff is wild. And before I really got into, trying to help people out or doing positive messages online, like I was deep into conspiracy stuff partly because like when you're really depressed, it's easy to lock on to this kind of information, and really, I don't know, really gives you like a little buzz feeling to think outside the box. A lot of people nowadays, like they'll be like, oh, I hate conspiracy theorists because this and that. And the term is really weaponized. The idea of being a conspiracy theorist, quote unquote, is weaponized because like anybody who thinks outside the box, like if you really want to prove any conspiracy, the merit behind some of these, look into the MK Ultra program. That alone, like if the government is capable of doing that to people, then what else are they capable of doing? And there's like tons and tons of different conspiracy stuff that has been proven true. Obviously, not everything that is conspiracy related is true, because that's silly. That can't be the case. Everybody wants these blanket statements and blanket truths, and it's not the case. It can never be. Just as there's a billions of different people on this planet, there's billions of different perspectives, there's billions of different truths. And the fact is, the people that are really running the show are really good at hiding their tracks. But some of the ideas behind like the moon conspiracies, if you really have never looked into any of them, is, like the idea that the moon landing was fake. Some of the reasons that people give are the lack of stars. So photos seem to show a black sky despite being daylight on the moon. Their explanation is that cameras adjust the light exposure, making bright lunar surface, and astronauts overpower faint stars. Seems plausible. Another one is shadows falling in different directions, supposedly impossible with a single light source, the sun. Their explanation is different lunar features reflect sunlight differently, causing varying shadow angles. The flag waving in the wind, that one has always tripped me out. There's no wind on the moon, right? So the mainstream explanation on this one is that the flag's aluminum pole was designed to flex, creating the illusion of movement. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, thank God. Jesus, Lord. So I was just talking about, different conspiracy stuff that has been brought up about the moon, like the reason why people think it was faked, the flag waving in the wind, right?
Right.
Shadows falling in different directions, the lack of stars. So their explanation on the flag moving was the flag's aluminum pole was designed to flex, creating the illusion of movement. That to me sounds like BS. That sounds like a BS explanation. What? The other ones seem plausible, but I don't know about that one, man. That one's always tripped me out.
The flag on it, I heard about that. It's got the pole at the top, and it kind of hangs on a T shape, but still it shouldn't move.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, before we get into the idea that from the video that you showed me, because like what was the video saying? So I can't pull up my freaking messenger on here apparently because my computer's being stupid. But
mine too.
Well, the video was saying that that they faked the moon landing because of what they found when they went to the moon, right? So they.
Well, that was my idea actually.
Oh,
That
really?
the whole moon landing was a distraction because of what they potentially found there. That way, they're so focused on it being hoaxed, they're not going to pay attention to these supposed structures and stuff that were found. And there's pictures of these online too, but I don't know if I'll get copyrighted by showing them or not. But it could be a distraction.
Yeah, it's best to not mess with copyrights,
especially on this channel here. But yeah, it makes you wonder.
Yeah,
his name was Carl Wolf. He was in charge of NASA's photographic technology, and something happened. He had to go in there and fix something. He actually saw some of these images of the structures and stuff on the moon, and he said he would testify on court that it was real. So guess what happened? He died in a car accident before he can go to trial.
And dude, there's literally tons of examples of this kind of stuff happening, like people disappearing, people committing suicide with 2 bullets in their head. There's a lot of different examples. Supposedly no gravity on the moon, so the astronauts pose the flag to be waving.
Well, I've heard there's low gravity. There is, but it's very low. Like if they jumped hard enough without the gravity or weighted belt, they would float off. But yeah, what keeps everything planted to the moon? What keeps everything just floating off is not really.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Seems plausible, man. Like personally, because I was really obsessed with the conspiracies behind the moon. Like I've been obsessed with every single conspiracy behind the moon, and the technology up until the year before, like, was not good enough for them to do it. In fact, like I believe, what did they have? The astronauts, they tried to do a test, and the astronauts died when they tried. It was like the year before that or something like that. Like, to me, I don't think that the tech was good enough. Personally, I've thought that the moon landing was faked the whole time. But on the flip side of that, I believe that behind the scenes, we've had the technology to go there, like that. Like, we've had UFO technology since before that. So personally, I think what you're saying is pretty plausible. This is a cover, like the idea was cover, to cover up the fact that, keep people arguing. That's what a lot of different stuff is. A lot of different conspiracies that keep people arguing amongst themselves so that they can't see that the money funnel that's going on.
Right. So what you're saying is you believe the moon landing itself was hoax, but we have been to the moon, just not as they're telling us, which makes sense too. I've heard,
I think,
conspiracies of Mars being traveled to already and stuff.
Yep, dude, it's like some people are saying that how one of the ways they did that fake moon landing was like the idea of a projection screen. Like it's, they have I don't know how to explain that one, but the Project Blue Beam, right? That's another one.
Holograms. Yeah. What I'm saying, there's a film producer involved. I forget his name, but he actually did The Shining and all that. He said he left clues in that movie showing that he was involved.
Stanley Kubrick?
Cooper. Stanley Cooper.
Dude, I don't know, man. The moon stuff trips me out because, like, it's hard. This is one of the ones that's like really hard because, like, I've heard that it's the moon is hollow. I've heard that there's all kinds, like, literally breakaway civilizations that live on the moon. So part of the idea of the secret space program, which we've all heard about, which has been 100% exposed. And it's funny because people have been saying that there's a secret space program for years. And people say, one step further, that there's literally breakaway civilizations living on different areas of our solar system. And now they're admitting that the secret space program is real. And what if it's true? What if there really is, like, legitimately, a breakaway civilization on the moon? What is it? Why wouldn't they want us to know that?
Well, think about this. If you're observing a planet and you don't want to get noticed, where would you set base up? On its moon.
In the Sumerian text, they talk about how the Anunnaki set up a way station on moon as a jumping point. So they would launch their spacecraft, go to the moon, refuel, and from their lesser gravity, they would go from there.
makes more sense that they would use the moon. They ain't got to hide in such secrecy because supposedly no one up there that we know of other than them. But who knows?
Yeah, one of the other reasons a lot of people think that the moon landing was fake, so that you have all the different facts. So impossible to survive the Van Allen belts, the radiation belts that surround the Earth. Explanation for this is that the Apollo missions planned meticulously for minimal exposure through rapid transit and spacecraft shielding. You know what they used for spacecraft shielding?
Tinfoil.
Huh?
Tinfoil.
No, they used gold. They lined the windshields with their gold, and that's exactly the reason why it's important. Is that's because in the Anunnaki stories, that's what they needed to suspend in their atmosphere to protect them from the sun. I think it's coincidental. I don't know, but
I mean, let's say gold is used or is definitely a major part of interstellar travel. It would make it a very rare source, even gold or intergalactically. That makes sense.
Some of the political what would be like a motivation for them to fake the moon landing? So political and social motivations. So hoax to win the space race, faking the moon landing to beat the Soviet Union. So that's there was a big deal about that, the space race to try to beat the Soviet Union because we were in constant freaking race with these guys for whatever reason, still to this day. Let's say explanation. Extensive independent verification by other countries makes this implausible. So that's the idea there, is that apparently there was extensive verification from other countries. But another one is distraction from the Vietnam War, a fabricated victory to boost morale. I don't know. Were we trying to distract people from the Vietnam War? Ooh, here's a good one. So political and social motivations. One of the things that I came up with, that the internet came up with, is to cover up alien encounters. This is what you're saying. Hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life on the moon. That's one of the reasons that they would fake the moon landing.
That one hits me a lot harder than the other views on this. It makes more sense too.
And that's coming from the AI software. That's what it says. They came up with that, which I find funny.
Because Russia was ahead of us. They were the first ones in space, the first one to reach low Earth orbit, supposedly the first ones to send live animals and people into space. And all of a sudden, we beat them to the moon when they didn't even do it yet.
Right. On paper, I think that they were ahead of us on the surface, on this weird surface, because I think that once Germany was defeated and we took all their technology and we took all their secret technology, the flying machine, or what is it, the bell, the German bell or whatever. If you look into that, the German bell, they were making UFOs in Germany. It's hard to believe, it's hard to accept, but you can find proof of this online.
And it's proven that Adolf Hitler was heavy into the paranormal and supernatural.
Why, dude? He took all the old legends seriously. He was not. I'm going to be careful how I talk about it because I don't want people to think that I'm on the dude's side. I'm just saying that he took all of this stuff seriously, and apparently, in the Law of One books, they were saying that he was they were being contacted, given information by a higher density negative entity, and that's how they were able to possess or advance their technology like they were. Just like throughout history, people get these inspirational ideas. In your dreams, you get an inspirational idea and you build this technology that makes you millions of dollars. How do you think you got that? Where do you think you got this from? Do you think it's just a random idea that popped out of nowhere? Or is it, an angel, God, whatever you want to call it, an extra dimensional entity, right? And if you think that there is a positive side, there has to be a negative side too.
Because balance in the universe, it has to be negative and both positive, good and evil. It has to resist to be existence. It's crazy. But what they're saying what's funny is that they lost the technology to get to the moon, but yet was so far more advanced than they were then. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes me believe it even freaking more. It makes me believe that there's a reason why we're not going back with our regular spaceships. Is because we've already been there. We already know what is there. there's already, things going on there that they don't want us to know about. So let's see. So there's a conspiracy theory that suggests that there's literal alien bases on the moon. So this theory suggests that there's secret extraterrestrial bases or structures on the moon hidden from public knowledge. Some claim to have seen anomalous structures in NASA photos. There's a lot of this. There's a wealth of this online where there's like people seeing these towers that are literally like 10 miles high, or no, it's like a mile high or something like that.
Towers, canals, domes, even ships.
Hollow moon. So this theory proposed that the moon is hollow and may even be an artificial satellite.
That's
Proponents
a big one,
suggest that its hollow nature explains unusual seismic activity and echoes recorded during moon landings. So that is a big one, and one that I believe is true. So if you look into it, they actually apparently detonated a nuclear device on the moon, and it rang like a bell
for like an hour or hours.
Right, and the fact, if you really look into science, so the regular science will tell you that the moon broke off of Earth, right?
Yeah.
And even though the rock is completely different, it doesn't make any freaking sense. And for it to break off in, like, it's one of the ideas behind the flat Earth stuff that people argue about, is because it's impossible. It's impossible for it to have broken off like it did, perfectly block out the sun during an eclipse. It's a mathematical impossibility. It has to be, it's by some type of intelligent design.
Deliberate,
so, without a doubt. Like, there is an intelligent designer to this universe. Like, whether or not we live in a simulation, whether or not there's a God, whether or not the Earth is flat, which I don't necessarily agree with. Let's put that out there, but I'm not going to shoot it down. Because then we wouldn't even be talking about the moon at all, because it's not a place you could go to technically. I think
even
theory, right?
Even just touching on it, according to the flat earthers, if the moon is local, it should be much easier to get to, right?
Right.
So instead of being, what makes me weirded out, or not weirded out, but think, on a full moon, on a clear night, how crystal clear and sharp it is, even for our vision. If it was that far away, should it be blurry or something?
It's hard to say, man. I think it's just because it's so massive. But there's a lot of science that I don't understand. And sometimes that motherfucker is like right there. Sometimes it's far away. I think it's the only way you can really explain it, I think, is really because the Earth is rotating like it is. Maybe it can be explained differently other ways, but as far as science goes, it's at least our understanding of science. It doesn't make any sense to me, but either way.
Plus, I don't think they're telling us the truth behind science in a way. I think they just tell us what they want us to believe or know. But there's probably so much more to it than even know.
And that might not even be like their fault as a whole. So think if you were taught science a certain way, but you purposely were left, if you were taught something, I taught my kids something, and I purposely left out the whole truth. I taught you a version of science that'll get you by, but the whole truth is out here. Like, you're going to continue on that way, not knowing any better. So I think that the game has been manipulated since the beginning of time, since like the whole Tower of Babel incident, when we got too close to wherever it was we were trying to get, which if you read into that story at all, the shit don't make no sense. We were trying to, like, what were we trying to do? Build a tower to the heavens, and God didn't like that? Doesn't make any sense. Confused our language. Like, is this is a benevolent God? No, this is not.
No.
Let's get that out of our heads. This is not a benevolent God right there at all. That is an example of a slave master. This is somebody that we got too close to something and he didn't like it. So if you start to think about it like that, and our language was confused, language can include science as well. That's something else to think about. You ever heard of the idea that the moon is a freaking spaceship, like a Death Star?
Well, that goes into the whole artificial moon,
right?
Conspiracy. That is, if it's artificial, what else would it be? A spaceship? I mean, is it a Death Star? I mean, I don't know,
bro. That's somebody was saying that's where they got the idea of from Star Wars, is that Like that was a real thing. This Star Wars was a real event that happened, but who knows if
no
that's true or
moon.
not.
It's a space station.
Dude, it could be. They're also saying that there's one of those, Jupiter's moons is one of these as well. There's, conspiracies that go deep into this. Like how at one point in history, like there's people that talk about the moon wasn't there. I don't know, man. That's wild. So if the
how
moon,
far back does recorded history even talk about the moon? Can we trace it? Can we track it?
these people do, they go deep into it in the videos. I don't have enough information to not sound like a moron, and nor not necessarily saying I believe it, but I think that the moon gives us, it gives us our tides. It affects our consciousness, which is something that is confirmed. That is, there's scientific backing that the moon affects our consciousness. People, behave differently on full moons.
That's where werewolves came from. That it makes them animalistic. I mean, we even say to this day, like in the field we do, when there's a full moon, people act weird, or even weirder than usual.
Well,
I did. If it affects the tides and the waters and the oceans on that big of a scale, imagine what it could do to the blood flow inside your brain and stuff.
Dude, guarantee you that it's affecting, just like the sun affects us, the moon is affecting us too. It's just, the lesser light. See, people, I was going to touch on the Book of Enoch because I've noticed a lot of people touching on the Book of Enoch and, using it to prove the flat earth idea. But if you really read the Book of Enoch, to me, it's describing the rotations of the planets in a lot of cryptic language. When I read it, I actually read it stoned out of my mind one day. And that's when I noticed patterns like that, because it helps you think outside the box. And I noticed that what I believe it's talking about is different planetary alignments, different rotations. Like it's using cryptic language to describe, the nature of the moving universe. And for him to be able to see that, he had to have been taken up there. You know what I mean? That's what was going on. Like he was taken up to the stars. That's what it says in the Anunnaki books too, or the, what do you call it, the Sumerian books.
Well, even the earliest maps that were drawn all those centuries ago, there's no way they could have known from unless you're looking down from above what's down here.
Yep. Have you ever heard of the Black Knight satellite?
Oh yes.
Yep. You see the moon. The moon does affect our consciousness. Like I get mesmerized by the full moon. Like whenever I'm outside, like the one time,
you can't stop staring at it.
When I went to Fletsy, there was a full moon, and I was on the beach in the middle of the night, and I had like a consciousness experience that I've never had before. Like I was like absolutely stunned and mesmerized. And there's times where it does make me depressed, and there's times where it like makes me feel enlightened. It's crazy, but I don't know.
I mean, it's just fascinating. It's the only thing up there of that size that's not on Earth that we can easily observe. Of course, it's going to be fascinating to us.
I pulled up a little bit more about the idea of an artificial moon. So the theory suggesting that the moon is a spaceship is one of the more far-reaching and speculative concepts in the lunar conspiracy theories. Here's some additional thoughts. So artificial constructions. Proponents of this theory speculate that the moon might be artificially created object. They point out its unusual orbital characteristics and suggest that it might have been placed in its current position intentionally. And the reason I say that is because of, again, if you look into the science behind like lunar eclipses, it's like, it's perfect. It perfectly blocks it out. And how could that happen? Like naturally, if it just broke off, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So perfect distance, the perfect size and shape. It's
like perfect. Everything, like everything's too perfect. It's like we're like a petri dish here that somebody wanted to create. But some suggest, ancient alien civilizations. Some suggest that the moon could be an ancient relic of an advanced alien civilization. This civilization might have constructed the moon as a base or a monitoring station, using it to observe or influence Earth. I think honestly, I'm leaning towards that one. And I think that when we went there, we had the technology to go there. We figured this out. They told us to not come back. And that's why we haven't got back to the moon. But, you know, people in the conspiracy community, people that are willing to testify on the stands, have testified on the stands, are literally saying this stuff is true. Literally saying that there's bases on the moon, that we are literally, you know, working with extraterrestrial races. Like there's people that are like, so are these people all lying that are willing to testify before Congress? You know what I mean? It's crazy. I was arguing with a guy at work about this the other day because he was saying, "Oh, unless there's credible this or credible that." I'm like, dude, so it's enough. It's enough to have an eyewitness testimony to put somebody to death, you know, but it's not enough to have 1 million eyewitness testimonies, you know, to prove this kind of stuff. Like we were actually arguing about Bigfoot. He's like, there would be credible photos, and I'm like, dude, what if this, you know, what if Bigfoot was intelligent enough to know not to be captured on photo? You know what I mean? What if it is anyway? We're just gonna go off topic, but
that's a good topic.
So purposeful placement. The idea extends to conjecture about the moon being placed deliberately to serve a specific purpose. Some propose that it was positioned to stabilize Earth's rotation or to influence life on the planet, whether biologically or culturally. Dude, that could be the case too. It could have been because of its size. Yeah. It's not like a normal moon, right? Like other planets have moons that are relative to their size. This one is actually really big.
And most planets have multiple moons. We got the one.
Well, this freaking Sumerian tablets have an entire story about why the moon is where it is. Like, you know, they talk about it being a they talk about it being like a collision. You know, it's a collision of a bunch of different planets, Marduk, but it's complicated and it's very cryptic. Like Billy Carson talks about it. He thinks it's an artificial body. He thinks it's a weapon, like a tool that they're using to monitor us. There's lots of people that think that.
Well, there is some evidence. If you look at the craters, they're all exactly the same depth. There's not one crater that's deeper or shallower than the other one. So it's like it's hitting the soft surface and then hitting that harder, maybe metallic or artificial surface underneath the dust. That's why they only go so far down.
Right. I mean, dude, that's, you know, part of the other reason, like, I can't, like, I don't get behind the whole flat earth idea is because it's too simple for me. Like, it's too simple. Like, granted, yes, that's it'd be crazy if that was true. Like, it's just, there was so much of, like, that I've been watching the past, like, 10 years of my life that, like, suggests that we live in a crazy multiverse and are visited by extraterrestrials constantly. And I choose to believe that rather than life only exists on this planet and, you know, God is up there just with a magnifying glass about to fry us any point in time. You know what I mean? Like the biblical narrative of that destroys their credibility.
But could that be psychological? That we don't want to feel so alone in the universe. So we created so they could be beyond. I guess that feels so
obviously they could be psychological. Like, sounds like something I would say. But that's solid stuff.
If the world is simulated, it's all digital, fake, artificial, program. Wouldn't they just create the one individual body and that would be it for that simulation? Why would they bother even creating a vast universe if it's just one small simulation?
It's hard to say because, like, dude, I mean, we know how, you know how I feel about the idea of a simulation. Like, personally, science will tell you that it's pretty credible that we do live in a simulation. The ancient mystics suggest that the universe functions as like a light matrix, a simulation. So, like, it exists for the evolution of consciousness itself. Like,
well, that's all it is. Programming of computer code in DNA and subatomic particles. So.
I mean, granted, you're right. The outer space and all this could technically be, you know, like we could go there, but like it's probably part of this simulation. Who knows, man? Like,
is that why space is dark? Because there's nothing out there. That's the end of the simulation.
It's a hard one to think about, man. Honestly, but
at least they're claustrophobic, don't they?
I mean, yeah. Believe me, man. Like, I've been more of a believer in the simulation idea ever since I had that experience I was telling you about. Like, Like what, there's something I can never go back from, because like that happened to me, like 100%. Like I'm telling you, it was real. It's like when I tried to resist, it broke my brain. Like I felt a snap in like it's like, no, you're not going to resist. Like
reminds me of that Rick and Morty clip I showed you where he went and lived that whole life in that VR headset within a minute or two. And when it came back, he was still out of it. He had to snap out of it because he was in that reality. And to him, that was real.
100%, dude. I mean, absolutely, without a doubt, that could be exactly what's going on here. Like, could easily be
wearing headsets.
Yeah, right. We're all VR. Oh my god. Let's see what else we got here.
Or, like I've often said, people like you and me, wanderers, we want to say, are here using some sort of artificial incarnation, and we're the ones using the headsets, but everybody else is actually incarnated here spiritually.
Could be.
And we're the different ones.
Like that's one of those. Man, I need the joint, but can't smoke no weed, sir. Got to pass drug tests now at work.
Dang it!
Only you can keep yourself off drugs.
So there's some people that out there and smoke some weed for us. Give us the answers. I'm not condoning drug use, but I am.
If you're gonna do anything, smoke a little weed. It helps. It helps.
I'm not going to say what it is, but we knew you got that plan to travel overseas eventually one day, which would be great in experience.
It doesn't show up on drug tests. We can talk about it.
Okay. Ayahuasca.
I'm going to take the ayahuasca, man. I just need to go do it.
I'm so scared of what's going to happen. Well, I'm not scared, but excited at the same time, because
I am.
I consider myself already on a higher level of awareness. What was something like that would amplify what I already have, and just.
I'm telling you, man. I have the stuff, and I've been terrified to do it. So like, it's not like some people like have gotten mad about it. They're like, oh, it's a drug. Like it's not. This is not a drug. This is like when I was talking. I did an episode on the Immortality Key book that I read, that suggests that the use of psychedelic drugs goes as far back as human civilization, and was probably the origin of religion itself. Like the original Eucharist, the sacred sacrament of Christianity, was originally a drugged potion. That's what it suggests. There's all kinds of evidence to back that up.
And we know the Native Americans, when they passed the peace pipe, because that was just tobacco in there.
Nah, they were definitely smoking the weed. And freaking speaking of weed, that's another thing, dude. Like, you ever looked into the origins of that? Like, where does that come from? Like, there's all kinds of crap, man, that make me believe in conspiracy stuff. Like,
I think as long as it comes naturally from the earth, it shouldn't be a bad thing.
Put me to sleep. That's
when
fair. It does
and crazy stuff, then yeah.
Well, it does. But I'm with you. Sometimes, like, personally, that's the reason why I was using it for a long time, is to help me sleep. It's honestly like, I would rather have everybody do that than drink, like, because everybody, if you're just gonna sleep or you're gonna eat, like, that's the perfect stuff right there. But
yep, no doubt.
So, what is our consensus on the moon landings? What do you think? You think they're faked with the intention, or?
It's kind of 50-50. It's like you said, either they never went because they already can, or they did go, found something they weren't supposed to, so they released a conspiracy to distract us from it. But I'm right down the middle with it.
Yeah, I'm right down the middle too. Like, I'm right down the middle with a lot of different conspiracy stuff, and
what a very convincing.
Like, I watched dude. That's the thing. So a lot of people don't realize this, but you can almost get enough evidence to support any theory you can come up with. So almost any theory you can come up with, you can find evidence to support it and make a believable case. And that's why it's important not to dive deep into conspiracy stuff. A lot of people, when they get depressed, they latch onto this stuff. And it was me for years. I did this for years. I watched every single video I could possibly find. and it gives you a messed up sense of reality. And that's why I choose not to do it. I choose not to get into the world-ending conspiracies. I don't like to talk about it. If the world ends tomorrow, the world ends tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As
It's still
far
nice to
as
feel like you're part of something bigger too. You
yep,
can see beyond the box that they got us living in. That you're awake, whatever you want to say, or your awareness is higher. Just to be a part of that. That's what gets me. That's why I like it.
I'm with you, Beth. I'm with you. That's exactly what I think. And what's funny is that I worked with a guy back in it was like 2009, and he was this. I considered him crazy at the time, which is completely ironic. He was he worked in the paint shop where I worked, and he was ranting and raving one night. He's like, you know why we didn't go back to the moon? He's like, because we went there, we found structures, and we were told not to go back. And I was like, man, this guy's a crackpot. He's crazy. He's on drugs. And then comes out years later, I believe that exact same thing. And I'm like, this guy wasn't crazy, and I should owe him a freaking apology. Because there's, honestly, to me, there's freaking more evidence of that than there is like of the actual moon landing personally. But
you can
people
find
are like, oh, how could they fake that?
I don't know how authentic they are, but there are recordings supposedly from the Apollo 11 mission where they're on a different channel saying, oh, they're here, they're watching us, or something like that. But we don't know, is that real, or somebody created that and fake it? There's no way to know.
There's one where they call somebody, where they say Santa Claus is here, and apparently that was code for UFOs. Like, there's all kinds. Like, I'm telling you, I watched every single video I could possibly find on this like a few years ago, and I was obsessed with this. There's people that have testified on the stands that said that we never went there. There's, all kinds of different, corroborating stories that suggest that we didn't go. But
the Apollo 11 didn't go, but we have been.
Who knows? Mm-hmm. Again, if you believe now, because the government has come out and said it, that UFOs exist, they have existed since, the 40s. So do you think that UFOs, if we possess that technology, we haven't already gone to the moon with said technology? Mm-hmm. Dude, like, that's what a lot of people think, is that, oh, it's UFOs, it must be aliens. No, it must be, at one point they could have been extraterrestrial craft, but what the UFO cover-ups really were is us reverse engineering this crap, and getting a lot of the technology we have today. Guaranteed. Like, we've had this technology, we've had the ability to end energy dependence. There's people, Dr. Stephen Greer, I shared a video with everybody I knew, testifying before Congress, bringing all these documents to back it up, that's saying that we haven't needed energy, we haven't needed freaking roads, we haven't needed any of this crap, because we have the ability to take energy from the ionosphere, no 0 point energy. Like that's what Nikola Tesla's working on. Yeah. And it's been suppressed because you can't sell that to somebody. You know what I mean? If you wanted to have, if you had a car that drove around without needing to be fucking plugged in, excuse my language, you can't sell that to anybody. That's why I'm not buying an electric car, because it's just one form of control for another. Like, you still got to go plug it in. You still got to pay somebody for this freaking energy. You cannot tell me that the tech doesn't exist to end.
They charge you a lot more for electric vehicles over gas powered.
I mean, granted, there is some savings, but not for people who live in apartments, dude. I can't. Charging it at the Tesla stations is just as much for me as getting gas. Like I may as well just buy a hybrid or something. You know what I mean?
It takes 5 minutes to put your fuel in the car and fill up. And your car would take overnight to charge it completely.
Yeah, man, I ain't getting robbed at the gas station trying to charge my stuff. I don't know. I'm being stupid, but so yes, I would say that I agree with Beth. My consensus is that we have gone to the moon. We're told not to go back. I think that the moon landing thing, honestly, what we seen was fake. Like, that's my personal opinion. Like,
that makes sense. I agree.
Like, I just don't think that we possess the, and we possess the time, the technology to freaking live stream it at that point in our time. Live stream it. Like, live streamed it, bro. We can't even get a live stream with the audio working for 5 minutes. Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on with that. I'm like, Jesus, we're trying to make a big comeback, and then that happens. Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's good to be back, though. I'm enjoying I've missed this.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been fun. It's been I haven't been doing very much because the struggle's real, man. Out here dealing with mental health stuff. At least it's working now. Clearly, the internet problem is solved. We're not having glitchify. We did have a problem with sound, but whatever. Can't win them all.
You had to go out and buy this nice big old 120. It's the size of a router, but it's what they call it. It's an extender mesh. It actually takes the Wi-Fi signal, amplifies it, and my computer can plug directly into it. And I think that fixed our issue with the internet, at least on my side.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Dude, my freaking kid's in there in the closet. I can hear it. See my backgrounds up there? My sister painted these ones up here. They're like sacred geometry. She did this out of her mind, man.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, notice you weren't in your kitchen anymore.
Oh, I'm in my kitchen still. Same place. I put them on the wall.
The different view you had before, we could see into the background.
Oh yeah, I was using the freaking virtual background before. Like I feel like it glitches me out too much and annoys me, so I'm just like using this. But plus, like I couldn't figure out how to record using the green screen without this happening. It was driving me, dude. I'm having older person tech moments, and it's freaking me out a little bit. But
what it is, the built-in webcam is more limited. That compared to mine, mine's a dedicated external webcam, so it does better processing.
I need it. I need one. That's what I need to get. Yes, Beth, I am doing better. Thank you. The struggle has been real, but
sure, yeah. Between school and work and all the crazy world we're going in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, the world is it's crazy right now, man.
It's only gonna get crazier. Buckle up.
Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. I honestly can't believe I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about politics. I'm just saying I can't believe what's going on. I can't believe the world. I can't believe what we're dealing with as a society. I don't know.
I hear you.
But if you're watching this, by all means, if you want to believe in conspiracies even more, look up stuff like the MK Ultra program. Spend 10 minutes of your life researching. You realize that, hey, these motherfuckers are not telling us the truth at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. They can lie to us about, purposely injecting large amounts of LSD into people. And apparently they've confirmed another one, that JFK was assassinated by the CIA.
I believe it.
If that's true, like I haven't really confirmed it. If that's actually true, that means that a coup to take over the government happened, and it is continued on since then. And you know what JFK was trying to do before he was assassinated? He was trying to expose the secret space program.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to expose what they had already found. And the truth is that whenever somebody opens their mouth, they get killed or they get suicided or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
So people ask me why I believe in conspiracies, and that is why.
If it's that bad when they got to kill you to silence you, then there's got to be some truth behind it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. I'm going to have to cut it short here, sir. I guess it's only 5 minutes, but the kids are in there imploding on themselves.
All right. Well, other than our little hiccup when we first started up, I hope you guys enjoyed our comeback. It's been great. I definitely missed this, and I look forward to doing this.
Yes, sir.
So, same time
yes, sir. We should definitely talk about JFK next week since we touched on it, and it will tie into this conspiracy idea altogether. Plus, that's pretty much where they coined the idea of conspiracy theories. Was during all that. Something to go. So allowed him. So the idea is, I'm pretty sure that they were directly involved. They were not necessarily allowed. Like they were behind it, and there's no way what happened, what they say happened. That is not the case at all. There's way more evidence to support him, being assassinated by a group of people rather than one. But that's definitely what we'll touch on next week.
Sounds good. So stay tuned.
Because all those documents got declassified.
Yep. All right, so we'll talk about the JFK assassination next week. Then. Sounds good to me.
JFK and the secret space program. Bam.
Yeah,
I like it.
me too.
We'll talk
All
about
right.
it, Beth.
So make sure you
Appreciate
stay
you
tuned next
watching.
week, man. Yeah, thanks for always being our dedicated viewer. We do appreciate you.
Much love. All right, you guys have a good one.
Hey, you do, man. Catch you later. All right, so we're going to get ready and wrap up here. Thanks for watching tonight. Do apologize for our bumpy intro as I had my audio issues. Thankfully, we resolved that. Next week, hopefully, it won't be an issue. And it looks like my network issue is resolved, so there's no, as I can tell, any interruptions with me right now until I can watch this on the playback. So next Monday, come back, watch us again, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard, 7 Pacific. We're going to talk about the conspiracy behind the assassination of JFK. You have a great night, Beth. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.